Hey everybody, welcome back to another video in the autoimmune series. In this one, we're going to be talking about the barrier systems and how important it is to maintain the integrity in these various barriers when it comes to managing someone with an autoimmune disease. My name is Dr. Matthew Shem. I'm the owner of Peak Brain Performance Centers here in Colorado Springs, and I make these videos because there's a lot of sick people out there, and I don't want you to be one of them. So throughout this series, we've talked about a majority of this stuff so far, and in this video, what we're going to be covering is just this one little box at the bottom, and that being the barrier systems, mainly being the intestinal barrier, the blood-brain barrier, and the pulmonary barrier. And the barrier system is really important because it's really our first line of defense against pathogens. So it's basically just this barrier that things have to get through before they get to our full-blown immune system. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the blood-brain barrier. So with any neurological autoimmune disease, you definitely want to look at the blood-brain barrier. And symptoms that you may have are things like brain fog, depression, fatigue, maybe in things kind of like MS or neuromyelitis optica, even in some autism spectrum stuff. So whenever you have a direct insult to myelin, which would be in a disease such as multiple sclerosis, whenever you're having a direct insult to myelin, you have to be able to cross the blood-brain barrier to get to that myelin. So now the integrity of this blood-brain barrier is really important. And I like using this test right here. And this test is really neat because it looks for antibodies present towards your blood-brain barrier. So if we find antibodies present on this panel, then we know that there is breakdown of your blood-brain barrier, and then we're going to want to go and try to manage that. The next thing is your lung epithelium barrier. And the symptoms you may find with that is asthma, a cough, respiratory difficulties, mucus production, or always constantly clearing your throat. And this is really important with mold and various respiratory patterns. And something that you can do to actually test yourself for this is something called the deep inspiration challenge. And all you have to do is take 2 deep inspirations and expirations as hard as you can. So, and with that, what you'll notice is if you have some sort of breakdown within the lung barrier, is you'll typically get a cough reflex. And so if you do that and you get a cough, that's not a good sign. So what's happening is when you're sucking in these antigens, that's in these particles they go across the epithelial barrier. Now we have this reflex that causes us to cough. And now we basically know that there's some sort of dysfunction in that barrier system. The last one we're going to talk about is the intestinal barrier. And this is a test that I like to run for the intestinal barrier, another Cyrex test. And this is going to look for antibodies towards different things that hold the barrier together, like zonulin and includin and stuff like that. And then mechanisms as to why that would happen are things like your diet. And we're going to do a whole nother video on leaky gut. If I haven't already, I think I may have. And so things like your diet, medications that you're taking, infections, stress, hormonal, neurologic, or various metabolic issues could lead to symptoms that's going to impair your barrier system. And then we're going to have to put on our Sherlock hat and basically go back and find what is the mechanism behind why you have this intestinal barrier breach, and then manage that at the core so that we can repair that barrier system and lead to less autoimmune flare-ups. So thanks for joining today's class. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or give my office a call, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.